Do you know Socrates? How much do you know about him? Feeling uninspired and have no motivation to do anything at all? Then you landed on the right channel. Welcome to Bulletproof Perspectives. We hope our insight will help you define your goals and sustain progress. Click subscribe and turn the bell notification on to never miss out on our latest videos. Socrates, a towering figure in the history of philosophy, lived during the Golden Age of Athens, around 470 to 399 BCE. Born to a stonemason and a midwife, he did not hail from the privileged elite, yet his profound intellectual pursuits would reshape the world of thought and lay the foundations of Western philosophy. Socrates didn't leave behind any written works. Instead, his legacy lives on through the writings of his contemporaries, particularly his devoted student, Plato. He embraced a unique and transformative approach to philosophy, engaging in open dialogues with fellow citizens to explore the nature of truth, virtue, and the good life. In a time when Athenian society was marked by political turmoil, cultural richness, and intellectual ferment, Socrates stood out as a gadfly, challenging conventions and dogmas. He believed in the Socratic method, a form of dialectical questioning that aimed to expose contradictions in one's beliefs and elicit deeper insights. His famous claim, "I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing," embodied his humility and commitment to pursuing wisdom. Socrates' impact on society was both profound and controversial. By engaging in discussions with people from all walks of life, he exposed the limitations of traditional wisdom and forced individuals to confront their own ignorance. This tendency earned him both admiration and enmity, as he exposed the fallacies of established authorities and shook the foundations of traditional beliefs. Socrates' approach to philosophy went far beyond mere theoretical musings. It was intricately linked to his ethical principles. He held the conviction that the quest for virtue and wisdom was the fundamental path to a truly satisfying life. In his well-known declaration, "An unexamined life is not worth living," he succinctly expressed his belief that introspection and rigorous reasoning were indispensable for a purposeful and worthwhile life. Nonetheless, Socrates' unrelenting interrogation of established conventions ultimately led to his tragic downfall. As the political atmosphere in Athens grew increasingly charged, he found himself accused of corrupting the city's youth and introducing unfamiliar deities. In 399 BCE, he faced a contentious trial. Remarkably, Socrates opted not to escape or compromise his convictions, even when confronted with the looming specter of a death sentence. He ardently defended his beliefs during the trial, but the jury rendered a guilty verdict. Instead of retracting his principles, he opted to embrace the penalty of consuming a fatal dose of poison hemlock, remaining steadfast to his ideals even in the face of mortality. Socrates' significance in the history of philosophy lies in his transformation of the philosophical landscape. He shifted the focus from abstract metaphysical questions to human ethics and the nature of knowledge. By promoting critical inquiry and introspection, he laid the groundwork for subsequent philosophical movements, including skepticism and the dialectical methods of his student, Plato, and Plato's student, Aristotle. His teachings also had a profound impact on education. Socratic dialogues became a model for stimulating intellectual growth and critical thinking. In fact, the Socratic method continues to be used in modern pedagogy, fostering deep engagement and active learning. Socrates' contributions extend beyond the realm of philosophy. His willingness to challenge authority and the status quo set a precedent for intellectual courage and individuality. His legacy influenced figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., who embraced nonviolent civil disobedience to challenge societal injustices. Socrates' philosophical impact was not confined to his own lifetime. His ideas ignited a philosophical flame that continued to burn brightly through subsequent generations. His student, Plato, became a philosopher of immense influence, using Socratic dialogues as a vehicle to explore profound concepts. Plato's writings, including the Republic, Phaedo, and Phaedrus, preserved Socrates' ideas and methods, ensuring their preservation and dissemination. Another notable figure influenced by Socrates was Aristotle, Plato's student. While Aristotle had his own distinct approach to philosophy, he acknowledged the foundational role Socratic questioning played in shaping his thinking. Aristotle's emphasis on empirical observation and systematic analysis, which would later become integral to the scientific method, echoed Socratic principles of inquiry. Socrates' impact extended beyond philosophy into the realms of literature, art, and politics. His role as a central character in Plato's dialogues transformed him into a cultural and intellectual icon. His methods of inquiry and commitment to ethical living became the subject of admiration and contemplation for generations to come. In the broader context of Athenian democracy, Socrates' legacy raised essential questions about the balance between individual freedom of thought and the demands of the state. His willingness to question traditional norms and challenge established authorities prompted a re-evaluation of the role of critical thinking in a just society. The tension between intellectual independence and civic loyalty that Socrates embodied continues to be relevant today, as societies grapple with issues of free speech and dissent. Socrates' life and teachings also paved the way for subsequent philosophical movements, including skepticism and existentialism. Philosophers like Montaigne, Descartes, and Kierkegaard drew inspiration from Socratic methods of self-examination and the search for truth in an uncertain world. In the realm of ethics, Socrates' emphasis on virtue and the examined life influenced the development of virtue ethics, a school of thought that focuses on character development and moral integrity. Philosophers like Alasdair MacIntyre and Martha Nussbaum continue to explore Socratic themes in their discussions on ethics and human flourishing. Socrates' story remains a beacon of intellectual courage, moral integrity, and unwavering commitment to the pursuit of knowledge. He challenged society to scrutinize its beliefs, question authority, and engage in meaningful conversations that transcended superficial understanding. His legacy serves as a reminder that philosophy is not a distant abstraction but a dynamic practice that has the power to transform individuals and societies by nurturing critical thinking, empathy, and the quest for a life worth living. As we reflect on Socrates' life, his legacy invites us to ponder our own beliefs, examine our assumptions, and engage in thoughtful discussions that lead to deeper understanding. In a world brimming with complexities and challenges, Socratic principles continue to guide us toward the ideals of truth, justice, and the examined life, a life that embraces the transformative power of philosophy to enrich our existence and shape the course of human history. I hope you learned a lot in this video. If you ever feel burnt out, unproductive, or unmotivated again, just remember a shift in your perspective will make all the difference. Bulletproof Perspectives is always here to brighten your day. Stay bulletproof.